Welcome and Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, though I am wearing a very specific Christmas sweater here, following my heritage, of course, got the tacos. But anyway, we're doing our first ever light news, I guess. That's what I'm going to call it for now. I do have a green screen, by the way, if you're wondering why I just got this cutout of my video. I can't get it set up correctly. So for now, this is the way it's going to look. Eventually, I'll add a green screen and some more effects. Today, we're going to cover three pop culture style news that happened this last week, and I'm going to continue that same format for future episodes. Now, as we go on, it's going to change format a little bit. I'm going to make it better, every episode that I go, but I'm just going to have this on a schedule every Sunday. I am recording this Saturday since tomorrow's Christmas, so hopefully nothing major happens tomorrow, right outside of the holiday. Today, we're going to cover three major topics that happened: Tory Lanez, Salt Bae, and Young Thug. I should mention that this isn't going to be some super objective look at these news. You can look that up yourself, right? Or I'm sure 1,000 other people and actual news channels are covering it. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to briefly go over the topic and do my thoughts a little bit and see what you guys think about it. Just sort of pointing stuff out that you may have missed in the last week. Now, first up, we have Tory Lanez being charged, or found guilty, I should say, with 3 counts. I gotta look up the exact counts, but it's 3 felonies, all in relation to the shooting of Meg The Stallion. He's been found guilty. I think he's still awaiting sentencing. But I think he's facing up to 27 years in prison. We'll see what comes of that. Most of the time, though, with celebrities, if they're on good behavior, they'll get out in like a third of the time, right? So he may be looking at, it's still a substantial amount of time, but he could potentially be out a lot earlier than that max penalty. On top of that, of course, I don't think I've seen his reaction to the news or anything like that, to the guilty verdict, but I did see a video of his dad supposedly screaming out a whole bunch of stuff, saying that Rock Nation is going to go down and he's the apostle or a messenger of God, something along those lines. I'll show the clip in just a second, but obviously he's highly emotional over it. I've seen a lot of backlash online for this, though, this decision. A lot of people don't think he should have been found guilty. A lot of people think it was Meg The Stallion's fault, or that there wasn't enough evidence to show that he was specifically the shooter, just that he was involved and there was a separate person who actually committed the shooting. So I don't know how to feel about this, man. I think the sentencing, which hasn't been done, the actual sentencing, I think that's maybe where the discussion should be had. I don't think necessarily the discussion of whether he should have been found guilty should be had. I think it's good that he's being sentenced for doing what he did, right? I don't think that's horrible. And I think there's a lot of just backlash on Meg for absolutely no reason that I see. I mean, what the hell? You don't have to like her to be like, yo, maybe getting shot isn't the best thing, right? Imagine if you were the one getting shot. You probably would want something to happen, right? So I'm not so against the actual verdict. I'm more wondering how much he should have for this, right? Because it's not, I don't think it's attempted murder. I'll have to double check, but it shouldn't be. Of course, let's go ahead and take a look at that clip.
You want to know exactly how I'm feeling? Yes, sir. I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men. And I know exactly what the public out here will say. Don't talk. You will say, I say this because I'm a father. See, I am a father of thousands around the world. I'm a father of my kids, but a spiritual father to many. Jay-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Rock Nation!
Yes.
Because my son refused to sign a Rock Nation deal with you.
Yes.
And Desiree Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch.
Yes.
You turn on.
All right, next up, we got Young Thug's continuing courtroom appearances. This one's a little close to heart, I guess, because Young Thug is one of my favorite artists, and seeing him potentially be locked up for so long is definitely disheartening. Though we have to keep in mind that all of the charges are accurate and true, that maybe he's not the best person to be kept out. I'm thinking maybe they should let him record music and make no money off of it. You know what I mean? Just have him be able to have a creative release while he's in prison, and we keep getting music. But I don't know. I feel like that may not be a good compromise. But anyways, some of these stuff that's happened since he started going to the courtroom, there were some hackers. This is a pretty big one. There were some hackers that started playing gay adult videos, so to speak, and hacked into the courtroom feed, I guess, and they were playing some adult videos, and the video was pretty hilarious. Everyone was like, what in the world's going on? Other than that, we also know that Gunna has been let go, so he's free, but he did have to admit that basically Slime is not just a record label, YSL, right? It's also a gang, so he did have to admit that to the judge to be able to be let free, which may come into play with Young Thug and everybody else and the rest of their courtroom appearances, because now they have at least one witness saying that it is a gang, and they can't just say it's not, or they can, but they're going to have a little bit of pushback on that. There was also a separate video that showed, and I have to look a little bit deeper into it, but supposedly Young Thug's reaction when he figured out that a bunch of his people were snitching, right? Or some form of snitching. Maybe it's not directly like, oh, he did it, maybe helping the case against him in some way. Honestly, outside of all of that, because I don't have insider scoop on whether he did it or not, right? I just don't like the fact that the idea that lyrics could be used to convict somebody would even be into play at all. I feel like none of that should ever be admissible in court at all, to be honest with you. Even if they have evidence, like if they have a video of this guy shooting somebody else, and then there's a song where he says he shot somebody, even in that scenario, they should only be using the evidence of the video. They shouldn't be using the evidence of lyrics at all, because art is what it just doesn't make sense to, you know what I mean? I can go out and write a rap song right now about how I kill 20 people down in another country, right? With zero fucking truth to it. And what they're saying is that somehow, if they wanted to build a case around me, could use that to support their arguments that I did something. I think that's insane. And if it's allowed in this case, it may be used more in the future, which means like 99% of rappers and 50% of all artists are going to be open to being used as evidence, like their lyrics used against them. I just don't think that that's a very good path to go down, but we'll see. These are RICO charges, but they're state RICO charges. I think a few people, less and less now, but when it first came out, people were really confused, and they're like, well, RICO has like a 99% conviction or something like that, conviction rate. And that's true if we're talking about federal RICO cases, but we're talking about a state-run RICO case, not federal. And so the odds may be more in Young Thug's court than people would imagine with a RICO case. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. All right, and next up, the very last story we have, I found it a little bit funny. I'm sure he doesn't, but that Salt Bae guy, which I thought he was like a one video hit. I don't know what the one hit wonder is in the video world, but he had that video where he's like dropping salt on food or whatever, like a weird thing, wearing sunglasses, and everyone blew up. That video blew up, but I thought that's where it ended. I didn't know he became like a celebrity. Or, I mean, like how do you become a celebrity from a single little short about how you drop salt on something? But apparently he did, and I just wasn't aware. He was just some big dude, I guess. And he got let onto the field at the World Cup, I guess. I don't know the exact timing of when it happened, but he was being kind of a dick to all of the players. He was messing with the trophy. He kept grabbing it, which is against FIFA's rules since he's not on the team. And you can see a video, which I'll show shortly after this, where he just keeps grabbing it out of players' hands, pulling players to try and get a picture. Like, he was just being a complete asshole, to be honest with you. And because of that, it seems he's getting a huge canceling going on with companies and events. So he has been banned from attending Rolling Loud most recently. I think he's also been banned from a couple of other events or companies, or maybe he lost a sponsorship. I just know there's a whole bunch of hell raining down on him. And if there's one thing you do, is you don't mess with soccer fans, to be honest with you. They're ruthless. You guys saw that video or that story of that little girl who was talking trash to some soccer players, and their fans were insane, even though she was like 9 years old. So yeah, you don't mess with soccer fans is all I'm saying. Salt Bae, I guess, was big. He's gonna go back to being unknown.
Let's think about it. Yeah, well, you think if he plays in MLS for the next 3 years, there's a World Cup in the States, right there. They come asking.
Exacto.
guys, that's pretty much it. This is the format of the show, pretty much. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to make it better as each episode, but it is a weekly thing. So it has a lot of time and a lot of repetition that's going to let it get better. But this is the basic format of the show. I don't want to make it too long, which is why I chose only like 3 stories. I don't want to make this, a huge production I'm doing. It's just going to be a weekly kind of keeping tabs on pop culture and that sort of thing. And yeah, you guys let me know what you think about it. Let me know how you think I can improve it and make it a little more entertaining for you guys, or maybe some stories that I missed, and maybe I'll cover in the next one. These are loosely tied for what happened in the last week, but I may just cover major stories happening in sort of the pop culture, but I'm going to try and stick mostly to music, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Happy holidays again. Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. That's happening, of course, tomorrow. Well, today, because I'm releasing it Sunday. And I will catch you guys on the next one, and I will catch you guys on the next reaction, which will be Monday. So take care.